All right, here we are on page 2. Same directions as number 8 and 9, where we're writing the slope-intercept form of the equation of this line described. We're perpendicular to this line. Well, I can't look at this and get my slope real easily. So what I need to do is get this into slope-intercept form. So negative 2y equals negative 5x plus 8 when I subtract 5x from both sides. I divide by negative 2, so I'm getting into slope-intercept form. And honestly, I could stop right here because all I'm really doing this for is for that slope. So the slope of this line here is coming out to 5/2, which means in my actual problem, I'm going to use the slope of, that's right, you guessed it, the opposite reciprocal, negative 2/5. All right, so what I'm going to do is use this point like they told me to do, but I'm actually going to go through my new slope of negative 2/5. So I'm going to go to point slope form here. Y minus 4 equals negative 2/5, parentheses, x minus a negative 5, which is plus 5. And I got to get into slope-intercept form, so I will distribute. Y minus 4 equals negative 2/5 x, and then when I distribute, oh, cancels nice again, minus 2. And then I have to add 4 to both sides. So y minus 4 equals negative 2/5, sorry about that, running out of room, x, add 4 to both sides, so I'm going to be at plus 2. And that would be, hold on a second, I don't know why I wrote that. Okay, sorry, add 4 to both sides on that step, add 4, it's gone, add 4, y equals negative 2/5 x. Plus 2 would be our answer to that problem. Okay, next one. Basically, the rest of this is some algebra review for us as far as going through the fundamentals of algebra. So what we're doing here is simplifying. We're practicing, realizing there's really a negative 1 right out front here. And that negative 1 is going to be distributed to each part. So in the front here, we're leaving everything the same, 7x cubed minus 5x minus 8x squared minus 3x to the 4th. Negative times negative makes a positive x cubed. And then we bring it through and have a positive 5x squared. Combining like terms here, we have a cube right here, 1 cube, 7x cubed, 1x cubed, so we have 8x cubed. We have a negative 5x, and that's it. Traditionally, people would maybe go in a specific order here, but it's okay. We can just keep going down the line. Negative 5x. We have, let me get a highlighter here. This might work out nice. We have 8x squared here. And then we have a 5x squared there. So that's going to be negative and positive makes a negative 3x squared. And then finally we have minus 3x to the 4th. And again, if you change the order around, as long as you keep the signs the same and it's equivalent to what I have here, then you're okay. All right, moving on to this next one. Again, the biggest thing we're putting this on here for is that you realize that a number squared or a binomial squared or anything squared is actually that thing, in this case a binomial, times itself. So the answer is absolutely not m squared minus 36. It is m squared outside and inside will combine together to give you negative 12m. And then the last gives you negative times negative, or a positive 36. So our answer there is that trinomial. All right, now it's going to say use a graphing calculator to get the real solutions here. So the first thing, I don't want to go to my calculator when it looks like this. I want to get one side equal to 0. So I'm going to make this, before I go to my calculator, be x to the 4th plus 3x squared, and then it's not magic. I'm going to actually subtract 5x from both sides, so it'll be minus 5x, and I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides, so it'll be minus 3, and then I have equal to 0. Okay, so now I'm going to blow your mind by pulling up a calculator here, which is kind of cool, and I'm going to put it right here. Hopefully, whoa, little, okay, I don't know what I did. Patience. Patience. There, I have no idea how that happened. or if it'll ever happen again. Okay, so here we go. From our home screen on the calculator is where the best way is to start over. So I'm going to go to a new document, and then from there I want to go to a graph page. Okay, now here's the deal. You could do this in many different ways. I'm going to show you how to do the graph one right now. So it's asking for all real solutions. That is only the x-intercepts, which is the same thing as 0. So if I want to put this in here, which I can put right down here and watch the key sequence here, x to the 4th, and then make sure you hit this button here so you get over plus 3x squared. And you can fast forward a little bit if this is taking me a while to do. Whoops, sorry, I accidentally hit enter. I want to add more to this. Minus 5x, not negative, but minus 5x when you type it in, and then minus 3. Okay, and that's the one I wanted there. So now I have this here. So what I can do at this point is I can go to Menu, Trace, Graph Trace, and you can see right away it puts the cursor on the 0 there. And actually with this screen it's bouncing around, but if I take it off of here and I hit this, it will trace right along here. So it's only asking for the x-intercept, so that's a 0 right now. So one of the zeros is 1.42. Okay, I'm going to do something on the fly here. I think if you click that right there, no, it doesn't work. Okay, never mind. Don't worry about your decimal points right now as far as rounding. We can talk about how to see more decimals here in class. But right now we are going to round. It says to 2 decimal places, so we'll just use 1.42. Looking up here, we have the other 0, and the other 0 is negative 0.463. Now, if you want to write those as x-intercepts, that's fantastic. We would just take those values and do comma 0 with them. Or it is just asking for solutions, so what we can do is put a solution set out there. So 1.42, comma, negative 0.463. Just no notation. It's very important. These are just 2 solutions, not an ordered pair. These are 2 ordered pairs that represent the solutions, x values for this problem. Okay? Now, factoring completely. Moving along here. We need to take out a GCF. It's got to be your first instinct. 100 and then 4. We can definitely take what out? A 4 out right away. So I'm going to take a 4 out, and that's going to leave me with 25 m squared minus, it's not nothing, it actually is 1. Remember, you have to distribute back and you'll get the same thing. Now what we have, trying to factor further, is a difference of squares. So we keep the GCF out, and then we know hopefully how to factor differences of squares to 5m plus 1 and 5m minus 1. And that's the total answer. A lot of kids will forget this 4 in front. Keep it going along. All right, this one here, again, GCF, 20, 20, and 5. I got to take a 5 out, which is going to leave me with 4k squared, minus 20k. That's how I make my k's. Sorry if you don't like that. Oh, back it up here. Undo. I'm worried about my k's, and I didn't take the 5 out. So this should be right here, a 4, and then a k, and then plus 1 again because we took the 5 out. So at this point what we want to do is we want to try to see if we can actually factor any further. So looking here, is there anything we can do? Okay, so 5 parentheses 2k maybe. Try that on the front end. This is called guessing and checking. Factors of 1 are only 1 and 1. Positive here, that means both signs are the same, both are negative. And actually, when we check that, it works out, which means it was a perfect square trinomial. So we could have factored a little bit quicker, but the guess and check will work every time. So that's the final answer. Actually, either of these are acceptable answers in these last 2 steps here. Okay. What I'm going to do actually is I'm going to, well, I'll do one more problem here. This one's cutting in, and then I'm going to go to another one video. Otherwise, the videos get too big, and then they take a long time to upload. So we'll finish off with 16, then I'll do another one for 17 through 22. So 16 here, sum of cubes. Gotta see that that's a sum of cubes. So as soon as I see sum of cubes, I have a binomial times a trinomial here. And what we do is we look at the first term. Well, sorry, before I even get there, we got to think about SOAP, okay? So we need to cleanse ourselves of any bad thoughts about these problems, use some soap. And since the problem is actually, this is where it's going to come from now, is we're looking right here at the sign. That's all we're doing right now. So we're going to go same, different, always positive for our signs. Or in soap, same, opposite, always positive. So the same sign, sorry, get a different color here. The same sign would be plus. The opposite sign would be negative, and then this one is always positive. All right, so watch, I'll try to color code this here, how these work. The cube root of 125x cubed is 5x. I take that value and I square it, and that goes in this first slot, 25x squared. That times itself gives me this. The first terms go together. And then what we have is the last terms go together. So the cube root of 1 is 1, and then I take 1 and I square it, and I get 1. And then finally, to finish the problem, I take the product of these two, 5x times 1, and I get 5.